Welcome back to Mystery Mayhem. If this is your first time here, I am hoping you will hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications to know when new videos will be put up. I will be changing up some of the topics I cover so we don't just deal with murderers on this site. Once a week I will bring mythologies and a current issue that is going on YouTube. This will break up the seriousness of bringing to you serial murders each day. In Greek mythology, the Titans, ancient Greek, were the pre-Olympian gods. According to the Theogony of Hesiod, they were the 12 children of the primordial parents Uranus, sky, and Gaia, earth, with 6 male Titans, Oceanus, Coeus, Crius, Hyperion, Iapetus, and Cronus, and 6 female Titans, called the Titanides or Titanesses Thea, Rhea, Themis, Mnemosyne, Phoebe, and Tethys. Cronus mated with his older sister Rhea, who then bore the first generation of Olympians, the 6 siblings Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, Hestia, Demeter, and Hera. Certain descendants of the Titans, such as Prometheus, Helios, and Leto, are sometimes also called Titans. The Titans were the former gods, the generation of gods preceding the Olympians. They were overthrown as part of the Greek succession myth, which tells how Cronus seized power from his father Uranus and ruled the cosmos with his fellow Titans before being in turn defeated and replaced as the ruling pantheon of gods by Zeus and the Olympians in a 10-year war called the Titanomachy. As a result of this war, the vanquished Titans were banished from the upper world and held imprisoned under guard in Tartarus, although some Titans were allowed to remain free, according to Hesiod. The Titan offspring of Uranus and Gaia were Oceanus, Coeus, Crius, Hyperion, Iapetus, Thea, Rhea, Themis, Mnemosyne, Phoebe, Tethys, and Cronus. 8 of the Titan brothers and sisters married each other, Oceanus and Tethys. Coeus and Phoebe, Hyperion and Thea, and Cronus and Rhea. The other 2 Titan brothers married outside their immediate family. Iapetus married his niece Clymene, the daughter of Oceanus and Tethys, while Crius married his half-sister Eurybia, the daughter of Gaia and Pontus. The 2 remaining Titan sisters, Themis and Mnemosyne, became wives of their nephew Zeus. From Oceanus and Tethys came the 3,000 river gods, and 3,000 Oceanid nymphs. From Coeus and Phoebe came Leto, another wife of Zeus, and Asteria. From Crius and Eurybia came Astraeus, Pallas, and Perses. From Hyperion and Thea came the celestial personifications Helios, sun, Selene, moon, and Eos, dawn. From Iapetus and Clymene came Atlas, Menoetius, Prometheus, and Epimetheus. From Cronus and Rhea came the Olympians, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus. By Zeus, Themis bore the 3 Ori, hours, the 3 Moirai, fates, and Mnemosyne bore the 9 muses. While the descendants of the Titans Oceanus and Tethys, Cronus and Rhea, Themis, and Mnemosyne, i.e., the river gods, the Oceanids, the Olympians, the Ori, the Moirai, and the muses, are not normally considered to be Titans. Descendants of the other Titans, notably, Leto, Helios, Atlas, and Prometheus, are themselves sometimes referred to as Titans. Passages in a section of the Iliad called The Deception of Zeus suggest the possibility that Homer knew of a tradition in which Oceanus and Tethys, rather than Uranus and Gaia, as in Hesiod, were the parents of the Titans. Twice, Homer has Hera described the pair as Oceanus, from whom the gods are sprung, and mother Tethys, while in the same passage, Hypnos describes Oceanus as, from whom they all are sprung. Plato, in his Timaeus, provides a genealogy, probably Orphic, which perhaps reflected an attempt to reconcile this apparent divergence between Homer and Hesiod, with Uranus and Gaia as the parents of Oceanus and Tethys, and Oceanus and Tethys as the parents of Cronus and Rhea, and all that go with them, plus Phorcys. In his Cratylus, Plato quotes Orpheus as saying that Oceanus and Tethys were the first to marry, possibly also reflecting an Orphic theogony in which Oceanus and Tethys, rather than Uranus and Gaia, were the primeval parents. To Hesiod's 12 Titans, the mythographer Apollodorus adds a 13th Titan, Dione, the mother of Aphrodite by Zeus. Plato's inclusion of Phorcys, apparently, as a Titan, and the mythographer Apollodorus's inclusion of Dione, suggests an Orphic tradition in which the canonical 12 Titans consisted of Hesiod's 12 with Phorcys and Dione taking the place of Oceanus and Tethys. The Roman mythographer Hyginus, in his somewhat confused genealogy, after listing as offspring of Ether, upper sky, and earth, Gaia, ocean, Oceanus, Themis, Tartarus, and Pontus, next lists the Titans, followed by 2 of Hesiod's hundred-handers, Briareus and Gyges, one of Hesiod's 3 Cyclopes, Steropes. Then continues his list with Atlas, Hyperion and Polus, Saturn, Cronus, Ops, Rhea, Moneta, Dione, and the 3 Furies, Alecto, Megira, and Tisiphone. The geographer Pausanias mentions seeing the image of a man in armor, who was supposed to be the Titan Enitos, who was said to have raised the Arcadian Despoina. The Titans, as a group, represent a pre-Olympian order. Hesiod uses the expression, the former gods, theoi proteroi, about the Titans. They were the banished gods, who were no longer part of the upper world. Rather they were the gods who dwelt underground in Tartarus, and as such, they may have been thought of as gods of the underworld, who were the antithesis of, and in opposition to, the Olympians, the gods of the heavens. Hesiod called the Titans earthborn, chthonic, and in the Homeric hymn to Apollo, Hera prays to the Titans, who dwell beneath the earth, calling on them to aid her against Zeus, just as if they were chthonic spirits. Similarly, in the Iliad, Hera, upon swearing an oath by the underworld river Styx, invoked by name all the gods below Tartarus, that are called Titans, as witnesses. They were the older gods, but not as was once thought, the old gods of an indigenous group in Greece, historically displaced by the new gods of Greek invaders. Rather, they were a group of gods, whose mythology at least, seems to have been borrowed from the Near East, see Near East origins, below. These imported gods gave context and provided a backstory for the Olympian gods, explaining where these Greek Olympian gods had come from, and how they had come to occupy their position of supremacy in the cosmos. The Titans were the previous generation, and family of gods, whom the Olympians had to overthrow and banish from the upper world, to become the ruling pantheon of Greek gods. For Hesiod, possibly to match the 12 Olympian gods, there were 12 Titans, 6 males and 6 females, with some of Hesiod's names perhaps being mere poetic inventions. To arrive at the right number. In Hesiod's theogony, apart from Cronus, the Titans play no part at all in the overthrow of Uranus, and we only hear of their collective action in the Titanomachy, their war with the Olympians. As a group, they have no further role in conventional Greek myth, nor do they play any part in the Greek cult. As individuals, few of the Titans have separate identities. Aside from Cronus, the only other figure Homer mentions by name as being a Titan is Iapetus. Some Titans seem only to serve a genealogical function, providing parents for more important offspring, Coeus and Phoebe as the parents of Leto, the mother, by Zeus, of the Olympians Apollo and Artemis. Hyperion and Thea as the parents of Helios, Selene, and Eos, Iapetus as the father of Atlas and Prometheus, and Crius as the father of 3 sons Astraeus, Pallas, and Perses, who themselves seem only to exist to provide fathers for more important figures such as the Anemoi, winds, Nike, victory, and Hecate. The Titans play a key role in an important part of Greek mythology, the succession myth. It told how the Titan Cronus, the youngest of the Titans, overthrew Uranus, and how in turn Zeus, by waging and winning a great 10-year war pitting the new gods against the old gods. Titanomachy, Titan War, overthrew Cronus and his fellow Titans, and was eventually established as the final and permanent ruler of the cosmos, according to the standard version of the succession myth, given in Hesiod's theogony. Uranus initially produced 18 children with Gaia, the 12 Titans, the 3 Cyclopes, and the 3 Hecatoncheires, hundred-handers, but hating them, he hid them away somewhere inside Gaia. Angry and in distress, Gaia fashioned a sickle made of adamant and urged her children to punish their father. Only her son Cronus was willing. So Gaia hid Cronus in ambush, gave him an adamantine sickle, and when Uranus came to lie with Gaia, Cronus reached out and castrated his father. This enabled the Titans to be born and Cronus to assume supreme command of the cosmos, with the Titans as his subordinates. Cronus, having now taken over control of the cosmos from Uranus, wanted to ensure that he maintained control. Uranus and Gaia had prophesied to Cronus that one of Cronus' children would overthrow him, so when Cronus married Rhea, he made sure to swallow each of the children she birthed. This he did with the first 5, Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, and Poseidon, in that order, to Rhea's great sorrow. However, when Rhea was pregnant with Zeus, Rhea begged her parents Gaia and Uranus to help her save Zeus. So they sent Rhea to Lyctus on Crete to bear Zeus, and Gaia took the newborn Zeus to raise, hiding him deep in a cave beneath Mount Aegaeon. Meanwhile, Rhea gave Cronus a huge stone wrapped in baby's clothes which he swallowed thinking that it was another of Rhea's children. Zeus, now grown, forced Cronus, using some unspecified trickery of Gaia, to disgorge his other 5 children. Zeus then released his uncles the Cyclopes, apparently still imprisoned beneath the earth, along with the hundred-handers, where Uranus had originally confined them, who then provide Zeus with his great weapon, the thunderbolt, which had been hidden by Gaia. A great war was begun, the Titanomachy, for control of the cosmos. The Titans fought from Mount Othrys, while the Olympians fought from Mount Olympus. In the 10th year of that great war, following Gaia's counsel, Zeus released the hundred-handers, who joined the war against the Titans, helping Zeus to gain the upper hand. Zeus cast the fury of his thunderbolt at the Titans, defeating them and throwing them into Tartarus, with the hundred-handers as their guards. Only brief references to the Titans and the succession myth are found in Homer. In the Iliad, Homer tells us that the gods, that are called Titans, reside in Tartarus. Specifically, Homer says that Iapetus and Cronos have joy neither in the rays of Helios Hyperion, the sun, nor any breeze, but deep Tartarus is round about them, and further, that Zeus thrust Cronos down to dwell beneath the earth and the unresting sea. In the hymn, Hera, angry at Zeus, calls upon the Titan gods who dwell beneath the earth about great Tartarus, and from whom are sprung both gods and men. In Prometheus Bound, Prometheus, the son of the Titan Iapetus, refers to the Titanomachy, and his part in it, when first the heavenly powers were moved to wrath, and mutual dissension was stirred up among them, some bent on casting Cronus from his seat so Zeus, in truth, might reign, others, eager for the contrary end, that Zeus might never win mastery over the gods. It was then that I, although advising them for the best, was unable to persuade the Titans, children of heaven and earth, but they, disdaining counsels of craft, in the pride of their strength thought to, and appointed the hundred-handers their guards. The Roman mythographer Hyginus, in his Fabulae, gives an unusual, and perhaps confused, account of the Titanomachy. According to Hyginus, the Titanomachy came about because of a dispute between Jupiter and Juno, the Roman equivalents of Zeus and Hera. Juno, Jupiter's jealous wife, was angry at her husband, on account of Jupiter's son Epiphus by Io, one of her husband's many lovers. Because of this, Juno incited the Titans to rebel against Jupiter and restore Saturn, Cronus, to the kingship of the gods. Jupiter, with the help of Minerva, Athena, Apollo, and Diana, Artemis, put down the rebellion and hurled the Titans, as in other accounts, down to Tartarus. After being overthrown in the Titanomachy, Cronus, and his fellow vanquished Titans were cast into Tartarus, that is where the Titan gods are hidden under murky gloom by the plans of the cloud-gatherer Zeus, in a dank place, at the farthest part of the huge earth. They cannot get out, for Poseidon has set bronze gates upon it, and a wall is extended on both sides. However, besides Cronus, exactly which of the other titans were supposed to have been imprisoned in Tartarus is unclear. The only original titan, mentioned by name, as being confined with Cronus in Tartarus, is Iapetus. But, not all the titans were imprisoned there. Certainly, Oceanus, the great world encircling the river, seems to have remained free, and in fact, seems not to have fought on the Titan's side at all. In Hesiod, Oceanus sends his daughter Styx, with her children Zealous, Envy, Nike, Victory, Kratos, Power, and Bia, Force, to fight on Zeus' side against the Titans, while in the Iliad, Hera says that, during the Titanomachy, she was cared for by Oceanus and his wife the Titaness Tethys. Aeschylus Prometheus bound, has Oceanus free to visit his nephew Prometheus sometime after the war. Like Oceanus, Helios, the Titan son of Hyperion, certainly. Save for what crime exactly they were punished. Atlas was famously punished by Zeus, by being forced to hold up the sky on his shoulders, but none of the early sources for this story, Hesiod, Homer, Pindar, and Aeschylus, say that his punishment was a result of the war. According to Hyginus, however, Atlas led the Titans in a revolt against Zeus, Jupiter. The Theogony has Menoetius struck down by Zeus' thunderbolt and cast into Erebus, because of his mad presumption and exceeding pride. Whether Hesiod was using Erebus as another name for Tartarus, as was sometimes done, or meant that Menoetius's punishment was because he participated in the Titanomachy is unclear, and no other early source mentions this event. However, Apollodorus says that it was. Hesiod does not mention Prometheus in connection with the Titanomachy, but Prometheus does remain free, in the Theogony, for his deception of Zeus at Mycone and his subsequent theft of fire, for which transgressions Prometheus was famously punished by Zeus by being chained to a rock where an eagle came to eat his immortal liver every day, which then grew back every night. However, Aeschylus's Prometheus bound, as mentioned above, does have Prometheus say that he was an ally of Zeus during the Titanomachy. The female Titans, to the extent that they are mentioned at all, appear also to have been allowed to remain free. 3 of these, according to the Theogony, become wives of Zeus: Themis, Mnemosyne, and Leto, the daughter of the Titans Coeus and Phoebe. Themis gives birth to the 3 Ori, Hours, the 3 Moirai, Fates, and Mnemosyne gives birth to the 9 Muses. Leto, who gives birth to the Olympians Apollo and Artemis, takes an active part on the side of the Trojans in the Iliad and is also involved in the story of the giant Tydeus. Tethys, presumably along with her husband Oceanus, took no part in the war, and, as mentioned above, provided safe refuge for Hera during the war. Rhea remains free and active, appearing at Leto's delivery of Apollo, as Zeus' messenger to Demeter announcing the settlement concerning Persephone, bringing Pelops back to life, while in Hesiod's Theogony, and Homer's Iliad, Cronus and the other Titans are confined to Tartarus, forever. Another tradition, as indicated by later sources, seems to have had Cronus, or other of the Titans, being eventually set free. Pindar, in one of his poems, 462 BC, says that although Atlas still strains against the weight of the sky, Zeus freed the Titans, and in another poem, 476 BC, Pindar has Cronus ruling in the Isles of the Blessed, a land where the Greek heroes reside in the afterlife, those who have persevered 3 times. On either side, to keep their souls free from all wrongdoing, follow Zeus' road to the end, to the Tower of Cronus, where ocean breezes blow around the island of the blessed, and flowers of gold are blazing, some from splendid trees on the land, while water nurtures others. With these wreaths and garlands of flowers, they entwine their hands according to the righteous counsels of Rhadamanthys, whom the great father, the husband of Rhea whose throne is above all others, keeps close beside him as his partner. Prometheus Laomenos, an undated lost play by Aeschylus, c. 525, c. 455 BC, had a chorus composed of freed Titans. Possibly even earlier than Pindar and Aeschylus, Two papyrus versions of a passage of Hesiod's works and days also mention Cronus being released by Zeus and ruling over the heroes who go to the Isle of the Blessed, but other versions of Hesiod's text do not, and most editors judge these lines of text to be later interpolations. It is generally accepted that the Greek succession myth was imported from the Near East, and that along with this imported myth came stories of a group of former ruling gods, who had been defeated and displaced, and who became identified, by the Greeks, as the Titans. Features of Hesiod's account of the Titans can be seen in the stories of the Hurrians, the Hittites, the Babylonians, and other Near Eastern cultures. The Hurro-Hittite text Song of Kamarbi, also called Kingship in Heaven, written 500 years before Hesiod, tells of a succession of kings in heaven, Anu, sky, Kamarbi, and the storm god Tezhub, with many striking parallels to Hesiod's account of the Greek succession myth. Like Cronus, Kamarbi castrates the sky god Anu and takes over his kingship. And like Cronus, Kamarbi swallows gods, and a stone, one of whom is the storm god Tezhub, who like the storm god Zeus, is victorious against Kamarbi and others in a war of the gods. Other Hittite texts contain allusions to former gods, Karuli Suns, precisely what Hesiod called the Titans, Theoi Proteroi. Like the Titans, these Hittite Karuli Suns were 12, usually, in number and end up confined in the underworld by the storm god Tezhub, imprisoned by gates they cannot open. In Hurrian, the Hittites' Karuli Suns were known as the gods of down under, Ena Durena, and the Hittites identified these gods with the Anunnaki. The Babylonian gods of the underworld, whose defeat and imprisonment by the storm god Marduk, in the Babylonian poem Enuma Elis, late 2nd millennium BC or earlier, parallels the defeat and imprisonment of the Titans. Other collectivities of gods, perhaps associated with the Mesopotamian Anunnaki, include the dead gods, Dingarugu, the banished gods, Alani Darsudi, and the defeated, or bound, gods, Alani Kamudi. In Orphic literature, the Titans play an important role in what is often considered to be the central myth of Orpheism, the sparagmos, that is the dismemberment of Dionysus, who in this context is often given the title Zagreus. As pieced together from various ancient sources, the reconstructed story, usually given by modern scholars, goes as follows. Zeus had intercourse with Persephone in the form of a serpent, producing Dionysus. He is taken to Mount Ida where, like the infant Zeus, he is guarded by the dancing Curettes. Zeus intended Dionysus to be his successor as ruler of the cosmos, but a jealous Hera incited the Titans, who apparently unlike in Hesiod and Homer, were not imprisoned in Tartarus, to kill the child. The Titans whitened their faces with gypsum and distracted the infant Dionysus with various toys, including a mirror. They seized Dionysus and tore, or cut, him to pieces. The pieces were then boiled, roasted, and partially eaten by the Titans. But Athena managed to save Dionysus' heart, by which Zeus was able to contrive his rebirth from Semele. The planet Saturn is named for the Roman equivalent of the Titan Cronus. Saturn's largest moon, Titan, is named after the Titans generally, and the other moons of Saturn are named after individual Titans, specifically Tethys, Phoebe, Rhea, Hyperion, and Iapetus. Astronomer William Henry Pickering claimed to have discovered another moon of Saturn which he named Themis. But this discovery was never confirmed, and the name Themis was given to an asteroid, 24 Themis. Asteroid 57 Mnemosyne was also named for the Titan. A protoplanet Theia is hypothesized to have been involved in a collision in the early solar system, forming the Earth's moon. I hope you enjoyed this story about the Greek gods and goddesses. For me they weren't without considerable treachery amongst themselves, and always fighting for the power to rule Olympus. The next series will be about Charles Manson up until his death in 2017. I did find crime scene photos which are horrifying to look at, so I'm warning those who wish not to look at those graphic scenes. Till then, blessed it be.